You built a 7-figure business from sitting in the engineering chair.
I did.
I understand what you did, but people at home might not. Can you give us a window into like what you do differently that made you so supreme compared to what other engineers do?
Yeah, I want to look at you, but I'm
Go ahead. I'm with you. Let's go. It's funny, right?
And also how important an engineer is in the process.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty important. I honestly, how I did it is it's really simple. It's wanting to be the best for whatever I was doing that day. All right, whether it's whatever role I held or however I was coming up or where I was or whatever part in my life, I wanted to be the best at it and get better at it every day. And that was a process that took over a decade with very little reward. And I got pretty good eventually.
Yeah.
And it you know, we're talking 350 days a year, 18 hours, 14 to 18 hours for years. And no, a $350 room, that was about 10 by 10 and a mattress that I treated very disciplined. I was like, this is the life. So I had the mattress and I was like, okay, this is what I come to. This is what I get up for. This is where I go. And it was just about that mission of being better the next day and better the next day and better the next day until I got to a point where I was in a room and I was like, okay, well, now we're becoming peers and we're having conversations and, maybe creative. The creative is what has always excited me. That's what we're limitless to the imagination if we have what I wanted, which was the knowledge and the experience.
Yeah.
Right? And so once I was able to obtain that, then it was about using everything that I love and that I feel like is just, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to, you want to make some hi-hats off the windows or, like what is it? Or, what I mean? Use the walls for the reflections in the corners and use that technical stuff to make good art, right? And then once you do that, once you become comfortable with where you're at and you're always growing and you're always developing, there's a business side to the music industry.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to tell you, you figured out something that I didn't figure out. And to be honest with you, I really think this is one of the most important interviews I've ever done. And let me tell you why. Because people in our world don't understand how to maximize the position they're in, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to, like, I'm an engineer, but I really want to be a producer, right? Or I'm a songwriter, but I really want to be an artist. And it's like they're trying to force it so bad that they don't focus on their process in the goal, and they usually hit or miss, right? I mean, how many people have we met that you're like, you got it?
No,
and
for sure. I've always been very disciplined about my roles, whether or not I was the runner, and I made sure that the building was spotless, or I made sure that the dishes were perfect, or I made sure if I created a blueberry lemonade at a studio I worked at, and everybody loved it.
Hold on, what studio?
At Windmark.
What studio?
Windmark.
Bro.
Yeah.
I should drink that.
Like,
you made that?
It took me a year between testing different recipes
We
until
worked
it
there.
was
We
perfect.
worked there with No Doubt, and they was like, "That's when you said blueberry lemonade." I'm like, "Hold on, it's only one studio in LA that's known for like."
Yeah, and that was like, it doesn't matter what it was. I wanted it to be something that was great, and so. And then if it's an assistant, if it's moving a car for somebody to write longer on the beach, I was there, and that's what my role was, to make sure that the art was always moving forward. If I'm standing in the room saying anything for 12 hours straight and making sure there's something goes down, I'm 3 steps ahead of a fader that's not up, or a monitor that's going to blow, or waters that aren't in the room. I was there if it was in the chair and making sure that everyone had open lines for music, or I could feel out where the song was going to go, or I could visually show some of the guys I work with where a pre comes in or a chorus comes in that helps make something better and move. You know what I mean? It's just...
I only heard one person talk about this like this. You know who it is? Jimmy Iovine.
Wow.
You know Jimmy's story?
Yeah.
Jimmy he started as an engineer, like a studio runner. He
Sure, then went to
he was a studio
producer
runner, and he wound up getting in the
business.
sets with Bruce Springsteen.
For sure.
And that he literally didn't know he was going to produce. He just was in the room learning he learned how to serve the room, and in turn, the room gave him opportunities. And I mean, he's Jimmy Iovine. He's a billionaire.
Producing is amazing, and that was like, I come from a traditional aspect, a traditional viewpoint on it, and I use my technical ability as a superpower to help produce better records. Right? It's that skill set that allows me to have no boundaries. And when you mix that with the creative and the opinions and the pressure of making art,
Yes.
it can be very rewarding.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a place that you wanted to be? Like, did you ever want to be an artist? And
I've
why
always wanted to be in the place I was.
Okay.
Always.
Incredible.
So how did you know you wanted to engineer specifically?
Well, engineering. So I was a musician. I started as a musician when I was a teenager, and me and my buddy, he was a guitar player. We wanted to start a band. I was like, I'll be a bass player. We started a band, and then I got a 4-track tape machine for the holidays, and I set up a microphone in the room. We started recording. I pushed play, and I listened to our music back. And I was filled with something that I'll remember and I try to hold on to forever, but it was that emotion that I wasn't so good at expressing as a teenager being played back to me. And I felt better.
That sounds like an artist, though.
That's the part that I love. He is an artist.
Yeah.
He just is an artist in his position. Where most artists are like, I need to be on TV. I need to be this, and it's like,
Got
no.
you. He's an artist
You
in
the
his own
star
right.
from your position, right?
Sure.
Be the best at your position. To me, it's always interesting when I see like a superstar artist that has an engineer that they're comfortable with. It's always like, how did that happen? Like, what did you say to that person to make them say, I don't want nobody in the room but you, right?
Yeah.
So like there has to be some sort of artist whisperer in your arsenal, honestly, because it's like
Psychology, understanding people, being really disciplined and having the knowledge and the experience and the studio etiquette, I can't make big enough deal of is so important, because at the end of the day, for that much time and for those many hours, it's just about being able to hang, get the job done in the moment and get it done right once, the first time, but be able to hang, and I do something a little differently. I came up in the studios for years and I got tired of the walls. And I said, I want to get rid of the walls. And so I was like, I want to be able to record anywhere. So I created a little system, put a backpack and a Pelican case together, and I wanted to have the experience trigger the moment for the art. And so if we were out and we were traveling and we were going to anywhere, I wanted to be with the artist, and I wanted to say, yeah, let's record in the B&B, let's record in the house, let's record on the bus, let's record, in the dressing room on Hollywood Boulevard in front of traffic, and then let's still be able to get a quality of music that's good enough to be able to compete and to go up anywhere. And so when I did that, it allowed for a new layer of the creativity, which was how I could have more fun and experience. You're sitting at the top of a penthouse in New York City looking over the entire city while you're recording, and there's something that feels different. Because we've all, I love studios and I love that experience too, and it's cool to crank, but there's something about that experience that is really exciting. And especially in hip hop. And in rap, it's those moments day to day are like, you got your Gucci slides on, and it makes it in a song, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I already know,
there's the moments.